Hey everyone, Theo here. Today I'm reviewing the PhosBronze Flex Nib from Osprey Pens, a company that sells fountain pens with a large variety of flex nibs you can choose from, including the Zebra G nib. So PhosBronze is actually phosphor bronze, a copper alloy that has good resistance to corrosion. This is an untipped nib, which means there is nothing at the end of the tip, unlike a typical fountain pen where you can see the tip is thicker. And this is how the color compares to gold. This nib can be purchased separately, and it will come with this little ink reservoir which can be attached to the nib, so that you can use this nib with a dip pen, and the price is US $12 at the time of making this video. Or you can purchase the nib together with the whole unit here, which includes the feed, the section, and this ink converter. This is priced at US $18. This nib unit can be purchased separately or as an add-on to any fountain pens you get from Osprey Pens. If you buy this at a much later date, after you already have the pen, just make sure to get the right nib unit, because this particular one, for example, is made to go with the Osprey Madison. You cannot use this one with the Osprey Milano. In other words, this nib unit is not interchangeable with the different fountain pens available from Osprey Pens. This can be disassembled completely quite easily, so let's just unscrew the ink converter behind. This is actually a twist type ink converter, and let's unscrew this part as well. To get the nib and the feed out, you have to push this part. I'm just going to use the back of my watercolor brush to push this out. So this comes out rather easily. This opening is designed in such a way that there is only one way to put the nib and the feed back in. So you see that little extrusion there at the bottom. This is how the ebonite feed looks. And this is how the PhosBronze nib looks. Not sure why it looks like this at the back. I've not used this pen yet. If you're buying the nib as a standalone, it's going to come with this little ink reservoir that is attached on the nib. And this will allow you to use the pen nib with a dip pen. I'm going to use this as a dip nib today because I don't feel like cleaning my fountain pen. So let's see how this works. Let's see what kind of lines we can get. The performance is very similar to flex nibs you commonly find on fountain pens. That little ink reservoir can actually hold a lot of ink, so you can write for quite a long time before you need to reload. And this pen nib puts out a lot of ink, so it will take some time for the ink to dry. And you can use the pen nib in this direction as well. You don't have to pull it down. It's not scratchy, so you can actually push this up. This is A4 sized paper, and this is how much ink that little ink reservoir attachment can hold. I have to stop here because I ran out of space, not because I ran out of ink. Right, let's have a quick sketch here. I'm not really into calligraphy, so I can tell you how this nib performs when it comes to creating calligraphy art. Here you can see the ink blobs. That's because I pressed down harder. And also, if the ink reservoir is in contact with the paper surface, you are going to get those ink blobs. As long as you hold the pen nib a bit more vertically, you're going to get the thin lines. And because this is a flex nib, you can get some line variation, some thin and thick lines. Let me hold this down so that the ink reservoir is in contact with the paper surface, and you can see all these ink blobs. This pen nib can be good is good for quick sketching because you can draw really quickly and the ink flow is able to catch up, and you can push the pen nib up. For pen nibs that have really sharp tips, you can't push the pen nib up, otherwise the pen nib, the sharp tip will cut into the paper. I've got to say that it feels a bit weird drawing with this pen holder because of the extension there. Okay, so this pen holder is actually more suitable for, if I am not wrong, this is more suitable for calligraphy purposes. For drawing purposes, I would definitely recommend going with a normal pen holder, or just get the pen nib with the fountain pen. If you're just using a fountain pen, you can really prevent those random ink blobs because the ink flow will be even more consistent. When using dip pens like this, especially when drawing very quickly, I have to be more careful. This pen nib performs really well when it comes to sketching. I believe it should be really good for calligraphy work as well. The main thing to note is the line variation will be from fine to broad, not from extra fine to broad. So to conclude, this is a good pen nib, but stiffness of the PhosBronze is very similar to steel flex nib. The main difference here is the PhosBronze nib is smoother because it's untipped. If you guys want to check out my reviews for the Osprey fountain pens, you can visit the links that I have for you in the video description below. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Bye!